Alright, how's it going everybody? It's Harvey from Two Wheel Review. Lovely day today. It's about 12 degrees and it's just the 1st of December today, so the start of the Christmas countdown, and it's still pretty warm to be fair. So today I'm going to be going over a wheelie tutorial on a Yamaha WR125X. This is going to be a beginner's tutorial, as it's not going to go into advanced sort of methods such as stand-up wheelies or shifting gears during wheelies. This is just first gear, getting the bike up to balance point and getting it over to the red line. So starting off, very important, wear your gear. I can't emphasize this enough. It's so important. Gear is the difference between crashing and standing back up and having a laugh, or the difference between an ambulance coming and you going to hospital. Anyway, so now we've got past the dramatic start. I'm wearing my gear. I've got on an Alpine Styles textile jacket with a fitted up back protector. I've got Kevlar jeans with knee pads, boots, long gloves and a full face helmet. So let's get into the tutorial itself. Starting off, the two important things we need for wheelies are clutch control over there and rear brake control. If I come over to the clutch side, basically we're looking to get a sudden surge of power into the bike, which is going to jolt the front wheel up. So we're basically looking to maximise the bike's power output at the top end at a very quick sudden movement. We do this by holding in the clutch, revving up back with the throttle, holding the throttle back and letting the clutch out, just letting it fly out. So again, clutch in, rev, let out. That's what's going to bring the front wheel up. In order to make sure the bike doesn't go too high, which at first you're most likely not going to be able to happen, but once you starts to get quite advanced, it's a really good method to get ingrained into you, is get that rear brake control down. If the bike does come too high, we can just press down that on the rear brake, not too hard, otherwise it might skid, but it would just bring that front end down to stop the rear wheel from moving as fast, which will bring that front wheel up. So rear brake and it will bring the front end up, front end down, sorry. So now we'll get into the actual tutorial itself. I'd really recommend to do this either on a private road or somewhere very quiet where you're not going to disturb anyone, such as a closed car park or deserted old road. So now on the bike, the important things you need to remember is that rear brake control down there. So keeping your foot constantly on it, just hovering over it. The clutch control, so keeping that clutch in. We're going to try and attempt to do it with two fingers to start off with. I personally do it with one at the moment, but two fingers is a good starting method, just because you can keep more grip on the handlebars and keep the bike more stable in case you were to come down quite hard. Again with the throttle, we're just going to practice bringing that clutch in, throttle, and then pop in the clutch. Clutch in, throttle, pop. In, duh, duh. So clutch in, throttle, out. You gotta let it fly out. Don't slip it, don't slip it. You just wanna lift your hands up and let it fly out. So again, clutch in, rev, and then pop it out like that. But with two fingers. So out, two fingers, pop. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a starter's guide here. Make sure the road's deserted. Right, so what we're going to start off doing, very important, is seating position on the WR. We're going to try and get right back into that seat to get more weight on the rear end. So if you see where your little actual hand holder is, try and sit back onto that. The further we can sit back in that seat, the more we can get the front end to come up. So I'm going to sit back a little bit further now, keeping that foot hovered on that rear brake. Right, so we're going to start off around that sort of 10 mile an hour mark, sitting back, clutch in, but what I really want you to emphasise at the start is getting that rear brake control down. So we're going to start off by literally just flinging that front end up, half throttle, and then rear brake down. Bear in mind your fork seals and your chain and sprockets are going to take this one very heavily. It's going to be very taxing on them. Just remember getting that rear brake control down to start off with. We're not looking to 12 o'clock it because that's going to take months and months of practicing and learning the hard way, aka flipping it. Because as much as your rear brake control is, there's going to be that one time when your foot slips off and it all goes to pots and pans. That's where the gear comes in. So again, we're going to start around that 10 mph mark, which is going to flip it, clutch in, and then rear brake straight back down. Just getting used to pressing down on that rear brake. So once we've got used to giving it sort of half throttle at around 10 mph, the front end actually coming up and slamming it back down with the rear brake, we're going to try and get a little bit more advanced. Once you get comfortable coming up a little bit higher, keeping that rear brake control. I get it to around sort of 10 again, press down the forks. So now we've got the basics down, or getting that rear brake control at sort of a low RPM. We're going to try and get a little bit higher. The best way I find of doing this is by pressing down the front forks, shifting your weight forward, and then shifting your weight back. That's going to bring that front end up a little bit higher and allow you to go a little bit faster whilst popping it up. So again, we'll start with the one finger now. We've got a little bit more advanced. Like I said, wheelies aren't always going to be perfect. You need to get right in the centre of that seat. Right, so now we've gotten away from sort of the basic starting off by giving it sort of half throttle, flying that clutch out, and then just as soon as it comes up, bring it back down with that rear brake. We're going to get onto a sort of more advanced tutorial bit now. So once you're starting to get that wheel higher and higher up, you'll start to feel you get to a point where the wheel starts to sort of balance in the air, float if you will. And this is what's known as balance point when it comes to wheelies. So when you're there, it's really just getting comfortable to being at that height and staying there. Once you get to balance point, you literally should be able to pull your clutch in, and the bike will keep on sort of around that same area of height and keep coasting along. Depends how high you go, but you can get to balance point or get some level of float by getting the bike fairly high up in terms of the front wheel. So once we've got a little bit higher, instead of just holding the throttle back and dropping it forward, what we're going to do now is rev it once it's in that zone. If we can keep the rev going, we can keep that bike moving forward and keep the actual power to the rear wheel going for the chain sprocket. So again, 10 mph, 11 if I can. So even that was a little curved off there, so get that going to sort of 10 mph. As you can see, I'm just giving that brap, 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 brap. Just keeping that power transfer to that rear wheel to keep it going. I mean, it's going to take you quite a long time just to get used to the first starting tutorial, getting that rear brake down. Keep it there. Right, that starts to curve off a little bit. Bring it back down. Again, get that 10 mph range. Get it there, control it, nice and straight, good. We're just getting used to getting that front wheel down and up, just keeping the control of it. Again, I'm not an expert at these, I'm not advanced, but I've learned the basics, and I really hope to sort of pass those on to help people out who are starting off the first time. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this tutorial has been informative. Any comments, questions, please leave below. Subscribe if you haven't already.